Every people grow a lot. How much they grow depends on the person. But physically, babies cannot walk right after they are born. After a year, they walk. A toddler cannot jump well until they become at least two. A 2 years old can jump well, but cannot say everything what she wants to. A 3 years old may be able to say everything what she wants, but she's not able to read books by herself. A 4 years old may be able to read a little, but she cannot cook. A 5 years old should not drive a car. A 6 year old should not teach a swimming lesson. I don't recommend letting a 7 years old boy use a credit card. An 8 year old should not be in charge of a first aid kit. A 9 year old cannot run vacation Bible school. But one day he or she will be able to. I know one of you is a swimming instructor, and I saw crew leaders helping campers with a first aid kit. I know a few of you have used my credit card once or twice. Last 2 weeks, I saw every BBS volunteer's ability to serve and their growth. It depends on the person and their age. Although Sun Chang was not able to give Nathan a ride, although Rachel did not cook for campers and volunteers, each one had their roles. Everyone had their part to serve. Everyone experienced something new to grow that they never experienced before. Believe it or not, it was Anita's first time to be a student director. It was her first time to be a student director. She did a great job, right? Did she do a good job? Oh. But remember, it was her first time to be a director. How did she do it so well? It depends on the person, so she might be just an amazing person. She nodded. But I know Anita was a part of VBS many, many times in the previous years. She learned, experienced it many times before this year's VBS. Experience helped her. She did it. She did great. I'm sure she learned a new perspective about everything by this year's experience too. Did you learn that? Yes. Another example is there is a leader who used to be so shy, and she told me she did not want to lead a crew years ago. But now she's the one of best. When you are part of something great, you can experience, get better, grow. So running VBS 5 times with y'all, every time I saw CGC-wise growth, change, each individual's improvement. So I'm so proud of you all. It may be easier to diagnose and see your growth every third week of June, right? We always do our first VBS in the third week of June. Um, because in my mind, I clearly remember how Sun Chang did at his first VBS last year. He was in the same role, Kid Vid, I thought that last year Sun Chang did it well, but this year he did it even better. He improved one more time. So a similar event can show people's growth. We read Joseph's story during VBS, Genesis 37 through 50. 13 chapters of the Bible talk about Joseph's life. We learn what he experienced, how he reacted, how he improved. At the end of the story, I want to talk about this. Genesis 50 shows us dreamer Joseph's improvement in front of the same scene. In front of the same scene, he reacts differently. So let's see what happened in Genesis 50 together. Let's read it out loud together. 3, 2, 1. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, "What if Joseph holds a grudge against us and pays us back for all the wrongs we did to him?" So they sent word to Joseph, saying, "Your father left instructions before he died. This is what you are to say to Joseph. I ask you to forgive your brothers the sins and the wrongs they committed in treating you so badly. Now, please forgive the sins of the servants of the God of your father." When their message came to him, Joseph wept. His brothers then came and threw themselves down before him. "We are your slaves," they asked. But Joseph said to them, "Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended for good to accomplish what's now being done, the saving of many lives. So then, don't be afraid. I'll provide for you and your children." And he reassured them and spoke kindly to them. After their father Jacob died, Joseph's brothers became insecure about the love from Joseph showed. Verse 15, what if Joseph holds a grudge against us and pays us back for all the wrongs we did to him? They had a burden in their heart. They remembered what they did to Joseph when he was a youth. As you know, Joseph's brothers sold him to Egypt when he was about 17 years old. Genesis 13 talks about. And 13 years later, Joseph became a powerful politician in Egypt. Genesis 41:46 says, Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. It was God's mysterious plan, and Joseph experienced so many things, and he developed the character that God wanted. While God was saving Joseph's family and preparing the Exodus. Right? And after that, he became the powerful person in Egypt. And Joseph reunited with his family in Genesis 45, and at that time he clearly expressed his forgiveness in God. Let me read it to you. Genesis 45:5 says, "And now do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you." And after bringing Jacob to Joseph, Joseph's brothers and sisters stayed clothed by Joseph in Egypt. But even after years of life together in Egypt, his brothers didn't understand the true forgiveness that Joseph tried to show in God. Joseph was changed. He grew, but when their father died, his brothers became insecure that, about the forgiveness. They forgot about forgiveness, but clearly remembered what they did to Joseph when they were all younger. They carried that burden even after years of forgiveness. It's interesting that famous characters of the Bible actually understood about holding a grudge against family members, right? Is it possible for a Christian to hold a grudge? We should not, for your sake, but it's possible. When I hear that some youth parents bring back previous mistakes again and again, I am so sad. When I see some people prejudge based on what happened before and do not consider another person's growth and change, it makes me super sad. Most people forget about what they were like years before. Think about it. Gemma would not want to go back to her baby days, right? She hates that when I say baby Gemma, and she says, no, no, no. She's two. But if Gemma gave other babies a hard time because they cannot walk or jump, if Gemma laughed at other babies because they cannot speak, then she would not be kind. It is so bad. We forget about our younger selves. You became better, but you still have room to grow too. Others have the same room to grow. What we can do is to love each other and forgive each other with training, waiting, and enduring, supporting, and helping and loving. Amen? Amen. Thank you. Can you become a next generation leader who takes care of your next generation? Amen? I can see that. Yes. Because holding a grudge is against the way of God. God's forgiveness is not remembering. Jeremiah 31:34 says, "For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more." Amen. So first, learn from Joseph. Don't hold a grudge. Don't become the person that Joseph's brother imagined. But like Joseph, recognize your role in God's grand plan. God trains you in life events, summer, school, winter, spring semester. You come back to serve VBS 2023 in June, right? I hope so. Before VBS comes again, you experience so many things, but learn from Joseph. Recognize your role in God's plan. Then God will train you. God will use your struggle to shape your character. You'll be able to forgive others because Joseph learned it from God. He was an oblivious youth who bossed around his brothers, But after the tough time, he became humble and he sensed the presence of God. And eventually, he knew why God put him there. So Joseph's story is not about how you can be a powerful politician. It's about how God changes you. God is surprising. Let's do it one more time. God is surprising, monumental. Prideful Joseph became a humble, forgivable person in the grand plan of God. This is Joseph's story. God is monumental, right? Amen. I'll not read that passage, but in Genesis 37, Joseph had a dream. His brothers hated him because of his dream and what he had said. Look at verse 6. Listen to this dream. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it. In Genesis 50, in today's passage, we see that this dream that Joseph had when he was 17 became true. Verse 18 said, his brothers came and threw themselves down before him. We are your slaves, they said. But Joseph is not the same person anymore. Joseph is not a youthful, prideful person anymore. After long suffering and experiences with God, Joseph said to them, I am not in the place of God. I cannot judge you. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done. The saving of many lives. I'll feed you. He reassured and spoke kindly to them. Within his success and experiences, he could have just said, I'm in the place of God, like what Egyptian kings, Pharaoh, used to say. He was sitting on the powerful throne. He interpreted Pharaoh's dream and he became the powerful guy. But he clearly knew that he was not in control of history. Am I in the place of God? God intended it for good. I forgive you. Let me close today's message. So, what is your dream? And what is God's dream in your life? God's goal is to shape you to be an excellent Christian, meaning a wonderful leader like Joseph. You may become powerful but so humble. You may struggle but still be strong and never give up. You may make lots of mistakes like Joseph when he was younger, but you become wise and so kind. That is God's dream in your life. Brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, you are young. You have room to grow. After lots of experiences, what will you do with your life? Everyone grows. Your dream may come true. But I pray that your journey becomes like Joseph's, that your character will be shaped by God like Joseph's. I bless everyone to learn and experience lots of things in God together this summer. Amen. Amen. I bless that we grow into the likeness of Jesus Christ together, one step closer to be a loyal servant of Jesus Christ. Amen.